Alright, so let's get straight to the point. The sport of college football is completely rigged. Not even just the sport, but more importantly, the college football playoff rankings, really rankings in general. You might be wondering why. It's because what really gets me is that it is heavily favored for the Power 5 conferences, which I find very odd considering that the AAC is literally better than the ACC, Big 12, and Pac 12 from my knowledge, and from just looking at the games you can tell. But like, I don't understand that. There's multiple group of five teams who have beat Power Five teams, especially throughout these past 5 years, at their stadium. They're going to your so-called Power Five stadiums and beating you there, but they're all of a sudden better. I find that very odd. I'm confused on why the group of five continues to be disrespected. There's clear bias from the committee, if you ask me, and on most occasions the AP is like that too, but this year the AP is actually doing pretty good, so I'm leaving it out of this conversation. Alright, so basically, this past Tuesday I watched the college football college football playoff ranking, so sorry. And I was highly upset once again. Once again, yes, the past 3 weeks I've been upset with every single rankings. You might be asking, wait, you hated every college football playoff ranking show this season? Here's my answer to that. Yeah, yes, I've hated every single one. And really, my first issue was the BYU situation where they were being completely disrespected. Now, yes, I know they just lost their first game to Coastal Carolina, who is also undefeated. So I don't know what's their issue with these so-called non-Power 5, as like ESPN wants to say it. Even though BYU is technically Power 5, but we're just going to completely ignore it, I guess. Um, they've been completely disrespected for what they've shown this entire season. Um, but that's not even it. That's not even why I'm making this video. The real reason is last week drew the line. I'm telling you, last week drew the line. I'm finna go on a full rant about what just happened last week. Let's start from high to a little bit more lower. Number 5 Texas A&M. I'm here to tell you straight up, this team is not a playoff team. It really barely is even a New Year's Six team. You wanna know why? They have near losses to Vanderbilt, who is 0-8 by the way, 0-8, and Auburn, who is 5-4. What is top 5 about that? I don't see anything top 5 about that, so I'm confused on like what is the committee thinking when they put Texas A&M at 5? I'm kind of confused. This terrible committee has been holding on to its head-to-head Florida win for way too long. Florida's has been clearly better since that game, and is going to the SEC championship versus Alabama, while Texas A&M will be playing a side game versus either Tennessee or Ole Miss if there's a cancellation between Tennessee game. Speaking of Alabama, how do you get blown out of the water by like 4 touchdowns to Alabama and completely get away with it? I don't see how you can do that. You get blown out by 4 touchdowns. You're a top 5 team? Are you serious? Like, I just don't see it. I don't see how that's possible. Texas A&M at 5 is completely blasphemous, and honestly, Florida deserves it way more. Regardless of the head-to-head game that A&M won, I guess it doesn't really matter for Florida than other teams, because regardless they have to win the SEC championship to make the playoffs, which would be a hard task against Alabama. It will be an exciting game to watch, by the way. But once again, A&M does not deserve the 5 spot. That's all I gotta say. Now let's move up spots with Ohio State. This is ridiculous. Coming from a person who actually kind of likes Ohio State and respects Ohio State, this is ridiculous. They don't deserve this 4 spot. Like, number 4, really. They have played 5 games that had their game against Michigan canceled this week, which was supposed to eliminate Ohio State from the Big Ten championship. However, this clown called Kevin Warren immediately changes the rules of playing 6 games to be in the Big Ten championship to whatever because it helps Ohio State get in. So there's that. I mean, basically, they're just snatching a playoff spot for a more worthy team and just handing it to Ohio State. I mean, like, I will get to those teams maybe later, but Ohio State does not deserve the 4th spot. What did they do? Who was their best win? Rutgers? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I beating Indiana by 7 is their best win. And honestly, if we're talking about this, Ohio State shouldn't even be touching the playoffs. And really, how is this rule change fair to Indiana? I know I know there's gonna be those people who say, "Oh, they won head to head," but rules are set. But they clearly love Ohio State so much that they will change the rules. Now, let's say a freaking hypothetical. What if Illinois was 5-1 and I'm sorry. Let's say hypothetical. Illinois was 5-0, but the team behind them, let's say hypothetically is Nebraska, and they're 6-1. Would they really change the rules for Illinois to get into the Big Ten championship? No, they wouldn't. I wouldn't think so. So I find this highly ridiculous of what's going on between Ohio State and I don't get it. I mean, they love Ohio State so much, as much as they really can, and immediately change the rules. Like, how is that in the NFL? Ohio State literally canceled a game versus my favorite team, the Illinois Fighting Illini, which would have been the game for the Battle of the Illini, and had enough players to play, but canceled it because they wanted to, which really is supposed to be a forfeit. But once again, it's Ohio State, so they're getting whatever they want. I mean, I guess, right? Once again, another unworthy team for a playoff spot. Now, let's go down to numbers 7 to 19, which may likely this might just end off the video. This is disgraceful. So once again, this past Tuesday, in the rankings, Iowa State moved up to 7. 7. Are you kidding me? 7 with 2 losses. Yes, 2 losses. Went to a team that's ranked lower than them with a better record in Louisiana. A lot of people know them as Louisiana Lafayette. The Raging Cajuns are 9-1, while Iowa State is 8-2. However, ULL is ranked number freaking 19 with a decent strength of schedule, with wins against App State, Georgia Southern, Arkansas State, who was 4-7. However, beat another Big 12 team in Kansas State, Iowa State themselves. But 1 is 7 and 1 is 19. This is really making no sense to me. Louisiana and the entire Sun Belt, who went 3-0 versus the Big 12 this season, are completely disrespected. And one of those teams being Coastal Carolina. Coastal just came off a huge win versus then number 13 BYU, who is now 18, and really all they did was flip their spots around. Well, yes, if you're following me on Twitter, you know I have had beef with Coastal Media's team and players, also their fans, but I can still say their number 13 spot is a complete joke for all they have accomplished this season, which is done what ULL has done, and beat ULL with their impressive schedule, with also a Power 5 win versus Kansas. Yes, I know it's Kansas, but once again, another Big 12 team, and it's a Power 5, which is really clearly what the committee loves. So it's a Power 5 team. What else can you ask for them? That's the Power 5 team that was available. That's the Power 5 team they got. So, anyway, I mean, this is completely embarrassing. I'm so confused on what is number 13 about that. What is number 13 about that? They're clearly showing that they're better than what their ranking is. They should honestly be like Wait, why is multiple two-loss teams ahead of them? I don't get it. I can guarantee you they should be 7 through 9 at the minimum. Once again, it's more disrespect to the Sun Belt and Coastal, and of course the Group of Five. Now I would get on Oklahoma's case, but you already get the point. Because them being in front of teams, plus th- them being in front of those teams, the teams that I've already listed, plus Indiana, who just came off of beating previously ranked Wisconsin, you would already get the point. And I'm just gonna leave that out, cause that's another situation that's completely disgusting. Why is Oklahoma ranked ahead of Indiana, Coastal, or really Miami too? Like, what is this? And the real reason I'm upset of Iowa State moving up 7 is because they moved in front of 8-0 Cincinnati, who is out of the AAC, who is better than 3 Power 5 conferences in most areas. And they basically just showed me that they're never gonna put a Group of 5 team in the playoffs. That's literally what I've seen. A Group of 5 will never make the playoffs because of this rigged biased system they have. Just like this, that I literally just seen on Tuesday. It is absolutely unbelievable how Cincy drops a spot for doing absolutely nothing wrong. But oh wait, hold on. Oh look here. Here's the reason supposedly why Cincy supposedly dropped the spot, and it was because Iowa State has been very impressive these past few games, stopping their opponents from scoring off the. Look, Gary Barta, you idiot. Cincy has been doing that all year to way better offenses than West Virginia and Kansas. Cincy has many quality wins with better offenses, such as Army, SMU, who may have dropped the resume just a bit because they lost to Eastern Carolina. But anyway, Memphis, and one of the most powerful offenses in college football, in UCF. But as a clown, Gary Barta says, it's not a knock on Cincinnati, when clearly it is. This is absolutely disgusting. They have number 24 in Tulsa in the AAC championship next week, which would be a good resume booster. But you want to know what gets worse? They're probably just gonna get drilled again with what I'm about to talk about next. Considering already Iowa State's in front of them with a Big 12 championship game against highly ranked Oklahoma, who shouldn't be ranked that high anyway. But number 9, Georgia. This has to be a clear cut joke. I don't know what Georgia's doing in the top 10 at all. Georgia's best win this season was the 5-4 Auburn at home by a score of 27-6. Auburn is 5-4, and that is what impressed the committee. This is just more clownish action. More clownish action from this committee. What makes it worse is that Georgia's 2 losses were they got absolutely dominated by Bama and Florida. This team is top 10, let alone top 15. Is this what you're telling me? This is a joke. And what makes it worse and shows that it's rigged in clear-cut form is that they ranked their next opponent, Mizzou, number 25, who was 5-3 in best winners, versus 3-5 LSU by 4 points. 4 freaking points at home. If you don't think this is rigged, I don't know what to tell you. Something's wrong with you. Why is Miami 8-1, number 10, while Georgia is at 9? It clearly makes no sense considering Miami's best win is 8-3 versus best win is versus number 23 NC State, who is 8-3. This is crazy to me. That this is the best Miami team in years, and they're being disrespected for being behind Georgia, who can't beat any good team they play. And that's an ACC team. So really, are you showing me that there's some type of SEC bias as well? Is that even higher than the Power 5 bias that they have on the Group of 5 anyway? I mean, like, what is really going on here? What is really going on here? Now I'm just gonna end this here because it's already getting bad. Now I'm probably forgetting something that I will remember after the video is already uploaded. But for now, that's really the end of the video. Hope you enjoy. Follow my Twitter at YouBuzzingWild. I talk a lot about college football on there as well. And take a good look at this idiot right here. There you go, right there, the chairman of the CFP. Just go ahead and slap a freaking clown over his face because that's exactly what he is.